Good evening. I'm Alan Handley. We're live here at Creekbox TV, and welcome to Sports Talk. My first guest tonight, is A.C. Cooper, the Homerville Clinch County Recreation Director. A.C., we're glad that you could take a little bit of time and come visit with Sports Talk tonight, brother.
I appreciate you having me, Adam.
Man, I know it's been a busy time at the rec park. Y'all been playing some tournament. They had all-stars in football. What's been going on? Are we done with that, or how? Kind of tell us what went on during the football season.
Well, actually, we just finished up with we had a couple of bowl games with my 8U last week, and we done pretty well in Berrien. We ended up winning the Rotary Bowl in Berrien in the 8U, and we come back and that was the early part of the week, and then we come back on Saturday. We played in the Bulldog Bowl, which we didn't fare too well against the bigger schools.
Well, man, that County. Bulldog Bowl, that's like, you got Camden, Tifton.
Yeah.
They don't break it down into small,
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. We hadn't won the Rotary Bowl in 5 years, so, man, that's a big an accomplishment.
Yeah.
To go over to Nashville and win over there, so, man, that's good.
Yeah, the 8U, I think we're going to have a pretty good bunch with that 8U team. They pretty stacked with talent. I mean, got good size guys on the line and all, and they're still a long ways from home, but I mean the future look really bright for them.
Man, and that's one thing about at the rec park, you get to see the talent, and it don't take long to spot talent when,
that's true.
6, 7, and 8-year-olds, and then what's good is when you see them, when your kids get up as freshmen and they start playing on Friday night, that's when, man, your jaws will get sore out there Friday night grinning, because you're actually been a part of that, you know what I mean? And that makes you feel good.
That's right.
I know Charles and Tresman and all them, we won. You coached back at the rec park when Trinity played.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the last time our midgets were that good. I think you lost one game maybe that year. 15-1.
Yeah, well, actually, we ended up playing like 20-something ball games that year.
Yeah, man, you played every weekend.
Yeah, and we ended up we lost to Brunswick twice, and come to find out they had an illegal player.
Man, I remember him. He was your kicker. He could kick the ball off and make the tackle. But, man, I know, with like your midgets, that sounds like a lot of games. But what happens on a Saturday, you'll play 4 games, maybe even 5.
That's
you got
right.
that many teams.
That's right.
So that it doesn't take long to stack up the games. Like
that's
that.
right.
So football's officially over at the rec park?
Yeah, it's officially over as of the day. We thought about was trying to get in the bowls and Waycross, and they were already full, so we couldn't get them in there. And I wanted to play because I knew the talent level over there in the different divisions that they got there.
That's right.
That we could probably get in a bracket that was.
You could be competitive.
Yeah, we could be competitive. Exactly,
right.
we could be competitive. So I called the lady, and she said that they was booked, and if she had an opening, if somebody withdrew from the tournament, that she would give us a call. But
Man,
I think
that's hard to practice. Waiting on that call.
So we went ahead and pulled the plug and called it off, and just.
And man, with us being, and you've seen this, we're a small community.
That's right.
And our kids, we wear them out because we use the same kids in football, basketball, and baseball. And it hadn't been long; they just hung up the bats.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, and they like to have a little break. It kind of right here at Christmas time.
Yeah.
We got Thanksgiving next week, and it's hard to play when they don't have school.
Yeah,
man, it's hard to schedule practices and games because they go out for Thanksgiving and visit their families and. So what's next on the list for the rec park?
Well, actually, we finished it up with football today. We just started sign-ups for basketball. We started last week on the 6th, and we're going to run the basketball sign-ups all the way to December the 6th and maybe a little bit longer, just depending on how many kids that we have signed up or whatever.
You'll look and see how many if you need to go. I mean, you'll go as long as you have to. You got to have 2 teams.
Yeah, that's right.
What age group would they start? Would you allow them to play?
Well, we're gonna try to start it out with at least from 5 to 12.
From 5 to 12.
Yeah, and I hope that we can get them in the divisions like the football 9 and 10, 11 and 12, which probably won't be the case with the small number that we got. But if we're fortunate enough to do that, that's what we'd like to do.
Man, in a perfect world, you'll do 8 to 5, and then have 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and all. It's just how your numbers are, you got to move them around to have enough.
That's right.
Which, man, I went out there and which I helped you with flag a little bit. I coached
that's
that a
right.
little bit. That's easy. Coaching that flag
Yeah, it
too.
is.
But it looked like you had good numbers in your 8s and your 10s.
Yeah,
It looked like we had a good number out there.
we did. Actually, we had almost close to 50 kids in the 8U division, and
man, that is
and we
great.
had like maybe 30 in the 10U.
That's super.
So
You ought to have plenty
yeah,
basketball. You ought to be safe. And man, the midgets. I know we didn't have a midget team.
that's right.
And the problem there is the middle school.
Yeah, that's right.
Used to they didn't play middle school football, and we've had now for the last several years. And,
That's right.
They let the 12-year-olds play middle school
Middle
now.
school,
I think if you're in the 6th grade,
That's right.
and that takes away from the midgets. We ain't got but so many kids to begin with.
That's
So
true.
and it's hard. You got to at least have 18 kids to play football because you're playing with 11.
That's true.
And injuries, it being a contact sport, and the flu, and then one getting in trouble at school.
Yeah.
It's hard to make it with just 15.
Yeah,
So,
it really is.
now I know that just because football's got over, people says, well, AC's gonna be at the house now. Got it made. It don't work that way, does it?
No, it don't. Because matter of fact, I'm already planning and working on doing things with the fields and all.
That's right.
Because as soon as spring hit, we'll be back with baseball. So it's a process that is never ending, and you just don't really have a whole bunch of breakdown time or whatever. So
no, man. See, your baseball won't start till around April.
That's
somewhere
right.
around there. But the middle schools start in the 1st of February.
1st of February, that's right.
And they play at the rec park. So I know you got to start, like you say, now, getting the fields ready because you can't. It's a process. The fields look good. You got to You got to work on them now. You can't start in baseball season.
That's true.
So
and I'm hoping that's probably some of the biggest things that I work on during this little time. Is just trying to get the fields prepared and get them ready, and hopefully by the spring we'll have them good and pretty, looking good and green. So
that's right.
But I know it ain't. It's a lot to be done. But I think,
there, brother, you're doing a great job. Man.
I appreciate
People
it,
compliment you. Look, you're probably the best athlete that ever come through Clinch County as far as basketball, baseball, and football. I don't know another kid that's graduated that excelled in all the sports like you did in high school. Now I was a senior when you was a freshman.
That's right.
I think you should have got a little bit more playing time when you was a freshman. It could have helped a little bit more my senior year, but we'll talk about that another day. But we're going to take a quick break and a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back to finish up with Mr. AC.
At Richards in Homerville, Georgia, you'll find the best meats and seafood anywhere around, and you can order by mail. For all your holiday needs, parties, and special events, we provide catering that will make the occasion one your guests will never forget. Whether it's a wedding, company party, political event, or convention, from Savannah to Atlanta and parts beyond, call Gregory or Sharon to schedule Richard's catering service or to make a purchase by mail. 912-487-5822. Winky's Southern Styles in Homerville is the go-to place for custom embroidery and vinyl transfer designs. Whether it's t-shirts, caps, or special Christmas items, Winky's will make it happen. Go by our location at 44 East Elna Street in Homerville and see Lenora for embroidery and vinyl transfer. Winky's Southern Styles supports the Panthers in their quest for another state championship. Go Panthers!
Good evening. Welcome back to Creek Box, and I'm Alan Handley, the host of Sports Talk, and we're here with the Clinch County Recreation Director, Mr. A.C. Cooper. Man, we appreciate you coming up here, taking time out of your day, because I know, man, at the rec park, it's, a lot of people say 12 hours. No, you got them 18-hour days at the rec park.
Yeah. It's from dusk to dawn, that's for sure.
That's right, man. And, like Saturday, like you said, a lot of people get off at Friday, man. Boy, I ain't got to be back till Monday. It don't work like that at the rec park, does it, AC?
No, it don't.
Y'all played football, and you can. I know that, a one game, but you could have been there all day.
Yeah, that's right.
Just as long as you keep winning, you'll play 4 or 5 games. It could have been 10 o'clock
it could.
Saturday night getting home.
Easily.
And I know that's what you wanted.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
We're getting there. Well, man, I brought you back. We talked about the rec park. I want to talk a little bit about now this high school football. You know, there's nobody got a better football mind than you. You excelled in it, so I want to kind of jab at you a little bit and see what you think about Friday night's game with Dooley County. I don't know if you watched any of it, man. Dooley, I know the Panthers are going to have their hands full this Friday. They have got a quarterback that looks good now.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. They say he's a good runner as well as a good thrower, and they pretty big up front and all. And I think we got our hands full. I mean, and anytime you're in the playoffs, I mean, you can expect everyone's best anyway.
That's right.
Don't nobody want to end their season. So, I mean, everybody's out to try to advance. I mean,
well, we got that X on us anyway. Everybody likes to beat Clinch County.
That's true. Yes,
and
sir.
in the playoffs, it just amplifies that, you know.
That's right.
Man, but I like the bracket the Panthers are in. You know,
Yeah.
like you said, there's no now, especially after last week.
That's right.
There's no bad teams left in
That's
the
right.
playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the bracket, the Marion up there at the top, that's on our side. Marion, the number 9 seed, plays Mount Zion, the number 8 seed. And then you got Washington Wilkes, the 16 seed, plays Manchester, the number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only team. I mean, all of them worry me. Dooley worries me this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at on our side of the bracket, Manchester's the number 1 seed.
That's right.
But, man, Dooley is the 21 seed. The only upset last week was the Dooley game.
Mm-hmm.
Dooley is a number 21 seed, and Tryon was a 12 seed.
Mm-hmm.
And Dooley beat them 56-35.
Wow.
You know, I mean, Dooley started out 0-6, and they've won 5 straight now to be 5-6. And I think that had a lot to do with the injuries. And they're playing. And that schedule was brutal. They played 2 AAA teams that won the region, and the AA team, Dodge County, that won region, ranked number 1 in the state.
Wow.
And then they had a couple of 1-point losses to Sly, and it was one more team in here that's still in the playoffs. So Dooley's seen good playing. And, man, always back in the day, even when you played, Dooley don't start playing till it cools off.
That's
Then,
right.
man, they start playing football. Hey, but looking at it, you got Clinch, and then you got Sly and Mitchell County, which is a 4 seed, and Sly. Now, I'm pulling for Sly because if Sly wins, we get to play in Homerville.
That's right.
So, but looking at this side of the bracket, man, not to say that the talent's not there. There's good football. But, man, on the other side of that bracket, AC, you got Macon County, the defending state championship, Lincoln County, tradition.
Perenna.
And, that game right there, Irwin and Lincoln, that's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, it should be. It should be.
I know Lincoln's got to go to Osceola, and that's going to be a plus for Irwin. And I'm pulling for Irwin because they're in our region. They're South Georgia. I don't consider Lincoln County a South Georgia
Yeah, me
team.
either. No. Me
You know,
either.
when we were in school, you had a South Georgia champion and a North Georgia
that's
champion.
right.
And they took that line at Macon, and they went all the way across the state, and then it went up about 100 miles to get Augusta's, just so Lincoln could be in South Georgia.
That's right.
And then you got Charlton and Commerce. Charlton's got to go to Commerce. And, man, last week's game, I was shocked that this Charlton beat Montgomery County 49-46.
Wow.
I was shocked at
Yeah.
that.
Well, I listened to some of it, and I seen it at one point it was 27-27, and I couldn't believe it, and because Montgomery, I mean, they're not.
Yeah, man, they hadn't had football since the early 80s.
Yeah, I
where they
know,
were
I know,
competitive.
yeah.
They had a team back then, but
Yeah.
they've been struggling. Apparently, they've got a good coach now that's turned stuff around up there in Montgomery.
Charlton probably overlooked them a little bit.
That's right.
I mean,
I think that, and I think that's going to be a good game because coaching, coaching means a lot in the playoffs.
this time of the year anyway.
I mean, you can take less talent, but a good coach,
Yeah.
man. The scheming and man, ain't nobody better than Coach Mack.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, I
true.
mean, he does a great job, and you look at his record.
Speaks for itself.
That's right. And then down there, you got more tradition. Miller County's a 19 seed, and then you got ECI as a number 3 seed.
Wow. ECI can be really scary too. I mean,
Yeah.
because they got that kid. I think he was a freshman. He was like 6'4", like 350 as a freshman, nose
Man.
guard. And I think he's on the junior this year, so he should be back next year.
You know,
as
they
well.
made it last year, I think, to the final. Every year, ECI is in at least, they make it to the Elite 8 every year. And, I mean, they always field a competitive team,
Yeah.
ECI does. But, man, just we're thankful that we're on the other side. You know, we got Washington, Wilkes, Manchester, Dooley. And, you know, it's, man, you like me, I like to get the bracket out and look at it, you know, look ahead. But now Homerville can't look no farther in Dooley County.
No, that's right. I mean, the playoffs, I mean, especially where the system is now, you got, because you can, the best team might not even be the number 1 seed with the power ratings and all that.
Well, you take last year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so, I mean, if you look at it by how they do the power rankings now, I mean, like, say for instance with us, I mean, we very well could have been the region champion.
Oh, that's right.
But we're not, you know. I mean, and that just goes to show you that if you don't win the region, that don't mean you're not the best team in that bracket the way it's set up.
Mitchell jumped from number 12 just because they won region.
That's right.
And they went to number 4. We're the first team at number 5 that didn't win region.
That's right.
Now, I think we're better than 5th.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm biased. I'm from Clinch County. But, I mean, that – they need to fix that. I think they see. If you're going to go by power rankings, let's go by them.
But that's right.
Let's don't do the region, or let's go back to region. Let's do the region playoffs. That's how I'd like to see it back like it was, and that'll cut down on the travel. You know, you'll have our region. You'll have a region playoff. You know, 4 teams. And do it. And there's only one team that advances out the region. That's how it was back in the day when me and you played. Well, man, I brought you on here, and I can't let you leave without talking about them Florida State Seminoles. And I can't say nothing because I think y'all might be better than them Gators just by 1 game. Though.
Oh, man, I tell you, man, it's been one year that I'm ready to be done with. That's for sure.
Me both, man. Me at least y'all got a coach. You know who's going to coach. I watching Florida State, they come out, they look good Saturday, and it's just, man, they're up front. It's like Florida. They just can't block. Man.
I tell you what, that offensive line, I mean, they've been terrible all year, man. I mean, I just don't see how anybody can be a quarterback and stand to take the pressure that the guy received from Florida State right now, man.
I know we was talking, and I got Josh Lee. He's coming up to do cleanup on the Sports Talk. We talk our college point spread and all that. He's the guru, the college man. He was trying to give you them Gator tickets. You know, that's bad when Josh wants to give his tickets away to the Florida State game. Well, AC, man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come up here and do Sports Talk. And, man, don't be surprised if I call you back in a week or 2, man, and I know you'll come.
Yeah, I will.
And we'll keep everybody. I talk to you, man, every other day. So here on Sports Talk, we'll keep everybody updated on the basketball sign-ups. And I know you want to start just as soon as they'll allow you to use the gym.
Yeah.
That's out of your control.
So that's right.
Board of Education. And I know we're going to get a new gym at the rec park.
Yeah,
you know, that's it. You know, me and you talked about that. That's
right.
the next thing I think we need. And then we can probably be on our own then.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and it's really big because starting basketball so late, I mean, it really throws a monkey wrench in our baseball. And just looking at the season from last year with our baseball, we only got a chance to practice like 3 days and was playing.
That's right.
Compared to Atkinson and Lanier practicing 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, man, that's a big difference.
And our program suffered majorly because of that.
We don't start playing good to the last week of the season, and then it's time to hang up the helmets.
It's time to hang up the helmets, So if we can some kind of way manage to make it through this and be able to get that gym a little bit more than what we have in the past, I mean, a week and a half would be, I think, would be a lot better than what we've been having to experience. So I'm praying that everything work out and hopefully we'll be able to work together for us in the school system to make it where we can kind of catch up. Cause
man, I'm with you on that. I know how hard it is. Brother.
Yeah, and so because I mean, like I said, the baseball, I mean, it went downhill in a major way last year, and it's totally because we just not having enough time to practice before we start playing.
Well, it's the same way with basketball. You got a week to practice and then you play the next week because you got to. It's always been that way. You're only getting a gym till February.
Yeah.
You know, baseball starts in a month, so you got to get a basketball season in 4 weeks. I know. I mean, that's why, man, if you could start over the holidays, it would be great.
And one thing people fail to realize, baseball is your crafts in baseball. I mean, you got to work on them a lot more than you do on any other sport.
That's right.
You know,
and
you can't take you can't take 2 or 3 days and make a baseball play. It takes time. So
that's right.
If we can get that, I mean, if we can gain some of that time back, I think we'll be all right.
Well, man, I know this upcoming year, Creek Box, don't be surprised if we come out there and visit one of your big Saturday games and get out there and watch a few of the players bat it around a little bit. I know me and Mr. Berrien's talked about that. Man, support. We got a Cadillac facility here in Clinch County, and it's in the best location right here on 84 in the middle between Valdosta and Waycross.
That's right, yeah.
And that is a big draw, and a lot of people don't realize this. After football season, there's not much to do in Homerville other than the rec park, and that's a big, when you start looking at the splosh money, that's got a lot to do with recreation. We bring in splosh money from the rec park. You know, why else people come to Homerville?
Yeah, that's true.
So, man, you're doing a great job, brother. Stay in there, and I appreciate you coming to Creek Box, and we're going to take another quick break, and I'm going to bring on Chase Daniels, my next guest.
Subway, the Corner Pantry, and the Argyle Food Market are locally owned by Mr. Nick Patel, who thanks the Clinch County Homerville communities for all their support. Subway, located on West Dame Avenue in Homerville, is the go-to place for nutritious, healthy food, and Subway also serves a delicious breakfast each morning. We have catering platters to meet all your tailgating needs. Don't forget to drop by the Corner Pantry in Homerville and the Argyle Food Market in Argyle and pick up all the items you need at the best discount prices in Clinch County. Nick says, go Panthers! Homerville Feed and Seed can provide nearly all of your farming-related needs, including seed, corn, bulk fertilizer, herbicides, insecticides, and a large variety of other farm products. Evalie and Nick want to remind you that you do not have to shop out of town to find the lowest prices. Our prices are as low or lower than any of those out-of-town companies. Come by and let the friendly staff at Homerville Feed and Seed help you select the farm products you need at the lowest prices around. Camping World of Valdosta, located in Lake Park, is your one-stop destination for all your camping needs. Stop by to see your dreams of quality time with your family become a reality. Whether it's tailgating with your air-conditioned camper, taking a trip to the mountains or beach with your family, or driving your motorhome to a faraway destination, Camping World has it all. Let us put you and your family in a camper for as little as $99 per month. And remember, when you buy a camper from Camping World of Valdosta, you receive a free Elite Good Sam membership, roadside assistance, and travel assist for 1 year. Since 1972, Popeyes has been serving up mouth-watering, delicious, hot and mild fried chicken and chicken tenders from its Louisiana kitchen. You know about our great chicken, but have you tried our tasty seafood? All of our menu items come with a Southern style all their own. On your way to or after the game, stop by Popeyes, and remember, we can handle all your special event catering needs. Conveniently located on Memorial Drive in Waycross, Popeyes puts a piece of Louisiana in every single meal. Want to learn more about rural America? Watch Creekbox TV.
Good evening. I'm Alan Handley, live here at Creekbox TV, and my next guest is Coach Chase Daniels. He is the athletic director at the middle school, and he is the Clinch County defensive secondary coach. And, Coach, you've had a busy weekend, hadn't you?
Real busy. We got our work cut out for us this weekend.
I know, man. I watched the Dooley-Tron game, and I called you, it was just unreal what, and I just didn't know if Tron was that bad or is Dooley that good.
I think a little bit of both, but I'd probably lean towards Dooley being that good.
I mean, this could be the best quarterback, hands down, in my opinion, that we faced all year.
Yeah, definitely the best one, I think, in my opinion, that we faced all year. He may be the best quarterback in Class A.
Man, I'm with you on that after what I've seen. And number 4, that receiver they got, he had over 200-yard receiving and like 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's their leading receiver, but when I go back, number 2's not far behind him at all. He had a heck of a game against Greenville, jumping over people and bringing down passes and going, catching 10-yard passes and turning them into 60-yard runs after the catch.
Man, that's scary, Coach.
And number 14 can go, number 11 can go. He's got weapons all around him.
I know with you coaching the secondary, man, Coach Dixon likes to blitz them linebackers and then put you in a tight corner sometimes. But y'all have done a great job all year, and I'm sure you'll do it again Friday. And y'all probably got a little bit of scheming that's going to go on this week. The Panthers always prepare good, you know.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that puts us in a bind when he blitzes backers, but a lot of times that's what I want. Because
That's right.
if you go back and you look at the success that this guy's had, his average time span between the snap and the time that he throws, it's about 5 to 6 seconds, and I really don't think he's going to have that much time, or I hope he doesn't against us.
Yeah, man.
And so I really think that we can't sit back in a dime package all night. I think it's going to be putting pressure on him and doing mixing up some man with some zone.
That's right. You can't just do one thing because
That's right.
they're going to coach them up at halftime, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. They think they show up on Friday night, they cheer the Panthers on. There's a lot of work going into winning a football game, especially against a team the caliber of Dooley. I mean, y'all's day started Sunday at what time, Coach?
2:00. Well, actually, a little bit before 2, but 2 officially.
And in the playoffs, I know it's dark when y'all leave.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's
It's
all Sunday, and then
6:30, 7:00, and then I've spent probably 2.5, 3 hours each day.
and then
Charting.
the film work after practice every day. I mean it. And when you play a team the only advantage we have, I think, with Dooley is we face spread teams all year, other than Irwin and maybe one more.
Yeah, and I think we're a little better athletically than some of the teams that Dooley's faced. I don't think we're the best secondary, but I think we get after it and we compete. And our thing is
No, we got a lot of interceptions. That's one of our and we've said it all year. Me and Tom both. That was one thing I was worried about coming in because we lost everybody from last year.
Mhm.
Man, we have gotten better each week, and I don't want to brag, and jinx us, but man, I don't think the secondary's done great. I know we got to be right there. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know what the record is in interceptions, but we're at least getting one a game.
I honestly, and I'm not trying to say this in any type of way, but I couldn't tell you how many interceptions we have. 'Cause I'm not worried about that at all. I'm just worried about getting off the field on 3rd down and not letting them convert when we have them backed up, 2nd and long, 3rd and long. And all year our motto has been, keep the play in front of us, limit the big plays. And Dooley's going to get a big play.
You can't bottle him up all night. I mean, that's going to happen. You're putting a bind because he's a running quarterback. A lot of people don't realize that he's got 2,200 yards passing, and what is it?
He's their leading rusher.
And 1,400 yards rushing, I think, according to the Clinch County News. So,
Mhm.
man, and what's bad is if he scrambles and gets outside the end, your
Mhm.
corner has to come up to make that tackle, and that's when he gets dangerous.
It is, and there's a fine line. I think this week we're going to have to try to rely on our secondary for coverage and leave as many people in the box as we can to try to limit him to running. We've done some different things to try to keep him contained this week at practice. But our guys have to make sure he's fully committed to run and pass the line of scrimmage before we break off of our guys and come up to help tackle. We've really worked the scrambling drill this week. So I mean, if he gets a big running play, hopefully it's 20 yards and you make a tackle versus him throwing it for 40 yards.
That's right. Well, Coach Chase, we're going to take a quick break and a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back and talk some more high school football, brother.
All right.
Powerhouse Outdoor Equipment at 1122 Bowens Mill Road in Douglas, Georgia is the place to go for all of your outdoor power needs. Whether it's commercial or residential mowers, lawn care equipment, recreational vehicles, or equipment repairs, see Kurt Malcolm at Powerhouse Outdoor Equipment, Douglas, Georgia. Powerhouse Outdoor Equipment at 1122 Bowens Mill Road in Douglas, Georgia is the place to go for all of your outdoor power needs. Whether it's commercial or residential mowers, lawn care equipment, recreational vehicles, or equipment repairs, see Kurt Malcolm at Powerhouse Outdoor Equipment, Douglas, Georgia.
Huddle up. That's right. Huddle up at the Huddle House in Homerville and Lakeland before or after the game. And if you can't make it to the game, watch all the live action here at the Huddle House. Remember, Huddle Houses of Homerville and Lakeland have a full menu with something for everyone, with prices that can't be beat. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, 24 hours per day, Huddle House is a game-winning recipe for the entire family. Go Clinch County Panthers, go Lanier County Bulldogs, and don't forget, huddle up at the Huddle House. Lee Engineering and Construction Company in DuPont, Georgia has been a part of the community since 1935 and is proud to support Clinch County athletics. The prayer of the entire Lee Engineering family is that our Lord and Savior will richly bless our schools, community, and nation.
Good evening. I'm Alan Handley, and welcome back to Creek Box at Sports Talk. And, man, I want to appreciate Coach Chase Daniels. He's the Clinch County secondary coach and also the athletic director. A lot of people don't realize when you teach at Clinch County, you just don't do one job.
Man of many hats.
You know, you're teacher, you're coach, and you're the AD, which is responsible for every sport at the middle school. Is that right, Coach?
That's right.
Well, man, we were talking about Dooley County, and I know, man, it's exciting time. It's playoff time. This is a new season. I know how Coach Dickerson is. It doesn't matter what's happened.
That's right.
You know, round one starts now. Ding dong. That's what he'll say.
Oh, yeah.
But, man, we got Dooley coming to the Boneyard this Friday night, and the kickoff is at 7:30. Is that right, Coach?
Yeah, as far as I know, 7:30.
I know watching Dooley Friday, watching their game, if we do have one advantage, in my opinion, Dooley – you know, they play with the same 11 on offense as they do defense, and I think we got a little bit more depth than Dooley does, Coach. What do you think?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you know, they're number 7 at quarterback, goes both ways. He plays defensive back, and number 2 and number 4 also play on defense. Their key guys do play defense, so yeah.
Well, at this time of the year, you got to play with your best 11. Because if you slip up now and get beat, you're rolling out the basketball.
That's
right.
It'll
be basketball season, and you know, we don't want that to happen. We hadn't been beaten the first round a long time, so and we got a good team, and Dooley does too, and it's going to be a great game and a great atmosphere Friday when the fire trucks lead y'all out, man, and the fireworks go off. I mean, that just puts chill bumps all over you. Me and Tom and Mr. Berrien's out there, and that's exciting to see that.
I love it. I wish they would have done it when I played.
Yeah,
football,
me too.
Man.
We didn't have that.
Man, that's awesome.
We had an 8-track player. I think we finally talked them into letting us do it at Old Sesame Field. You know, Creedence Clearwater Revival. We had some of that breaking out.
They got some good music.
Man, they did. But man, I know it's been exciting, and y'all've got a busy schedule this week. And I know Coach Dickerson. I know how he is when it's playoff time. He'll be looking off out somewhere, his mind.
Double cop.
That's right.
Both
and you'll be
hands go
talking
out.
to him, and he'll forget he's in a conversation and walk off. But that's just, I mean, that's how he is.
That's
and
how
man,
focused he is.
That's right. He does a great job. And there's one thing, I know the defense is going to be prepared to play Friday.
Yeah. We talked to him today again. You know, Coach Tyson did a great job, and Coach Morgan just reminding them, you know, we can deal with losing in the playoffs as long as we feel like we put everything we had on the field. You know, that every kid left it all out on the field, and if you get beat doing that, you just get beat, and you can live with it. What's tough to stomach is knowing you should have and could have went further, and you didn't play up to your potential.
And I think we got an advantage there because last year we ended with a bad taste in our mouth.
We did against McIntosh. And,
that was the worst game we played all year. And I don't know, we wasn't overlooking them. We just had a bad game. It's bad to beat it. It's hard to beat a team twice.
Well, I think last year everybody just put so much emphasis on commerce, and we had Thanksgiving break during commerce, and we had the kids all day long at school watching film and doing, you know, all kinds of different, putting a lot more into it. And, you know, outside people were saying, you know, commerce is the only thing between you and the Dome, and you'd already beaten McIntosh, and you know, the coaches knew what was at stake, but I think some of the players were, you know, thinking it was in the bag.
Well, man, I know you're ready for the high school game, and now I'm gonna change, and we're gonna talk a little bit of college football because I know you are a Roll Tide man.
Yeah.
You've been all your life, Alabama. What did you think about Auburn and Georgia last week. Was you shocked by it, Coach?
I was very shocked. I honestly thought that it was going to be a close game either way. I knew Auburn had a good chance of beating them, playing, that's a rivalry game. What do they call it? The biggest rivalry in the
Yes, I
South
think 135 years they played straight, something like that.
Watching the game, I thought Georgia probably was the better team going in, but watching the game, I was very surprised at how Auburn handled them at the line of scrimmage. I thought offensively and defensively they just controlled the line of scrimmage all night. I thought that was the key factor in the game.
And it being in Auburn, being an Alabama fan, it's hard to go into Auburn, 90,000 people, just like Tuscaloosa. It's hard to go in there and beat Alabama anytime, but when you got them at home, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, and I think 4 out of the last 6 years that the Iron Bowl has come down to determining at least the SEC champion, if not the national champion. So, I think this year is another year. You take the last couple away, going back, it's a big rivalry, and it's Alabama and Auburn's biggest rivalry each year. If there's one game you schedule, it's that one.
That's right. That's right. That makes Thanksgiving good, man, because we got as bad as we have one or two good games this week, but next weekend's going to be some good college football. It'll be like last weekend. It was great. I didn't leave the house, stayed there flipping back in two. And,
well, you'll have Alabama, Auburn. You'll have Georgia, Georgia Tech. You'll have Florida, Florida State.
Man,
you
good. Well,
they both should be 4 and 6 at the
yeah.
time. So,
I don't even think we're going to be
two evenly matched up teams.
Yeah, it could be one of the greatest games they've ever played, brother. Look, talking about the Gators, who do you think has an out? Who do you think the Gators looking at for their coach?
I think the obvious choice probably is Dan Mullen. He's got Florida ties. I think Josh and I were talking about it earlier. He's done tremendous things at Mississippi State. Yeah. They weren't even relevant before he went there, and then I think he's won at least 7 games 7 times out of the last 9 years.
Man, that's and then you're talking about Mississippi State, and me and Josh talked about this. He's done all he can do, kind of like Spurrier did at South Carolina. Not to knock them, Spurrier went 11-3 or 11-2 2 or 3 years in a row, but there's there ain't but just a few teams in the SEC that has the potential and the facilities to win a national championship. Not to say it can't be done at Mississippi State, but
right.
You got A&M, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida. That's the 6 that I would say you can win a national championship at within the next 4 years if you get there and you got the right coach.
I would definitely think Florida would have, the monetary means to get Dan Mullen to lure him away from Mississippi State, and then obviously they have much better resources. Florida may have the best resources. Probably Florida and Texas would be the two schools that I would think would have the most resources in college football.
Man, and I was looking here, Alabama, they had a close one this weekend. Dan Mullen did a great job. But I know Saban, that's a coaching tool for him. But, Alabama this week, and then I'd hate to be Mercer coming into Tuscaloosa this weekend. That's a warm-up for Auburn.
Yeah, probably see a lot of backups playing that game.
After the first quarter.
Yeah, I would think so. But then Auburn's got UL Monroe and same type of thing. So 2 teams with basically off weeks heading into the Iron Bowl.
That's right. Well, Coach Chase, I know you got a lot to do. You're going home to break down some more film, I'm sure.
Bo Lawson. That's a football name if I've ever heard it. Bo Lawson.
Like Johnny Football. Hey, so, man, I appreciate you coming and being on Sports Talk. And we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to bring in my next guest, Josh Lee, and I appreciate you coming, Coach.
Thank you. And
man.
Josh will do a great job.
That's right.
Jerry J's is the best Boston butts and ribs around. Meat so tender and tasty that it practically melts in your mouth. We have a variety of home-cooked meals and the best breakfast in town. And don't forget about our barbecue sandwiches. Jerry J's can cater your event and looks forward to serving you in Homerville, Waycross, and Douglas. Oh yeah, if you can't make it to the game, drop by Jerry J's in Homerville to watch the game live on Creekbox TV while you enjoy one of the many items on our menu. Go Panthers! Lutz, Brown, Piegler, and Manley Insurance Agency is locally owned and has been a part of the Homerville, Clinch County community for many years.
Jeff Brown and Eric Lutz make it a priority to know their clients on a personal basis and take pride in customizing insurance coverage for the particular needs of each customer. They offer all lines of insurance, including auto, home, business, life insurance, annuities, and bonds. Lutz, Brown, Pigler, and Manley Insurance Agency, East Dame Avenue, Homerville. Go Panthers! Winky's Southern Styles in Homerville is the go-to place for custom embroidery and vinyl transfer designs. Whether it's t-shirts, caps, or special Christmas items, Winky's will make it happen. Go by our location at 44 East Elna Street in Homerville and see Lenora for embroidery and vinyl transfer. Winky's Southern Styles supports the Panthers in their quest for another state championship. Go Panthers!
Dairy Queen is a proud part of our local communities and is cheering our sports teams on to championship seasons. Drop by before and after the game to say hello to Mr. Ash and his entire crew and enjoy the full Dairy Queen menu, including our famous grilled burgers, artisan-style sandwiches, and chicken strips. Cool off with our renowned smoothies, slushies, malts, and iced coffees. Try our fabulous desserts and take an ice cream cake home for that special occasion, or just to treat the family. Dine in or take out at Dairy Queen locations in Homerville, Blackshear, Folkestone, and Fernandina Beach. See you at the DQ.
Want to learn more about rural America? Watch Creekbox TV.
Good evening. I'm Alan Handley, live here at Creekbox TV on Sports Talk. And, man, I got my buddy back, Josh Lee, my college guru. There's nothing that happens in college football or college sports that Josh Lee don't know nothing about, man. I appreciate you coming, Josh.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me back.
Man, it was an exciting weekend. I know you had a birthday that you probably missed a lot of the games.
I did, but we caught some in. We caught the Georgia game before we went to the concert. We watched the first half of it, which unfortunately that was all most people wanted to watch.
That was it.
I turned it off.
But, that's bad, us being Gator fans, which I was pulling for Georgia. I always pull for the Dogs when, I'm not such a diehard Gator fan that I don't pull for the Dogs,
I felt myself kind of leaning that way in that game. I'd like to see Georgia,
I picked the Dogs to win, man, and I reckon I jinxed them.
Yeah, maybe so, but Georgia still got an outside chance to get in there.
We're going to get into that, brother. I agree with you. Georgia controls their own destiny.
They do.
Because, later down the road, you got Clemson and Miami's going to play. The loser of that will be out.
It's too late to make it.
That's too late to make. And that's the disadvantage at this time. You take Wisconsin. They're 10-0, and they're going to play in the championship game, of course, probably against Ohio State is who I think they'll play. And if Ohio State beats them, they don't have time to recover from that loss. They're going to drop too far down.
You better be playing your best ball at the end of the year now.
That's that. You got that right.
Georgia, I think, needs to be big Alabama fans the next couple of weeks.
That's right.
I hope Alabama get by overnight.
Yeah, and I think that's what if that happens and Alabama's number one when Georgia plays them.
Georgia wins.
That could
sneak
push.
Back in.
That's right. And man, what's going to be interesting is if that happens, how far does Alabama fall?
Yeah. They won their game this week, but they kind of squeaked by in the voters' eyes, not in our eyes.
It's a rough place to that's my coach, man. What's the news coming out of you? Any updates on what the Gators are doing?
You hear so much. The mainstream media is kind of being quiet on it. Twitter, Creekbox is on Twitter. Go follow them if you hadn't followed them.
Yeah, that's right. Lexi was up here and got us hooked up on Twitter.
Yeah, that's in the Twitter account. But Chip Kelly's been the name blowing up on Twitter. Surprised me. And got open mind to it, man. It's got me excited. If they can bring him to Gainesville.
Me and you talked about it last week. That domino effect is starting. Tennessee coming. Sunday morning.
Yeah, we called that, I think, last week. That Tennessee's coach would be
that
gone.
Was, they were trying to hang on to the end of the year with him to get rid of him.
And they had to make a move.
They're 0-7, I think, in SEC on it.
They hadn't won a game. No, they hadn't won a game, and I don't know who they play this week. I think it's the SEC
they
game.
wasn't high enough up in the paper. I didn't even get that. Let me see. Yeah, I got Tennessee
That'd be
right. LSU at Tennessee.
That's
so, and that's a 7:00 game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be. I
loss.
want to see. It's liable to be sold out now since the coach has been let go. Though,
that's right.
But that worries me. Now you got Tennessee, which is an elite program.
No, yeah.
I don't think it's as elite as Florida, but I mean it's a.
No, but what thing Tennessee will do, they're going to open up the pocketbook per se.
That's right.
They're going to spend the money they need to spend. They're talking upwards, $5-6 million a year on a football coach. I don't think Florida even paying Meyer that when he was there and won 2 national championships in 3
times
years.
have changed, and that's just been 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, a little bit.
I can remember when Spurrier was making $2 million, and they were saying, "Man, that's just
too much, wasn't it?" Yeah. Now look,
you had Georgia's coach making $800,000.
Yeah,
times have changed from them, brother.
That's been the business to be in. If you get a coach.
So you're thinking Chip Kelly still? The door's just wide open.
Yeah, Florida needs to make a big name splash hire. They need to hire somebody that's got the experience, and offense needs to be the main target right now. And who else? Chip Kelly, what he done at Oregon.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you.
I think his record as a college football coach is 49-6.
Yeah, man.
4 BCS games.
And then you look at what Oregon was before he came to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I know that first coach there had got them headed in the right direction.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's true. But Chip Kelly took him up to the next level.
That's right. He couldn't get over that Belante or whatever his name was.
But before Kelly was there, he actually brought Kelly on as offense coordinator.
That's
I watched
right.
a little documentary on him, and he actually, said, "Hey, this is the guy we need to get. It's time for me."
And now that he's gone, look what happened to Oregon. They have just.
They had a new coach this year. I think it's his first year there. He come from South Florida, where Charlie Strong's at now, Willie Taggart, and he's at Oregon now. His name's been mentioned in the Florida coach also.
That's right.
If he could come back home, but man, who knows? I feel like Chip Kelly's really getting a lot of smoke right now, and usually where there's smoke, there's fire. But also, most of the coaching hires that Florida's done recently, a name comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't at McElwain. I didn't even know who he was.
Man, I hope this time we actually get one of the big names that's out
that's
there.
Right.
We don't go get somebody from.
I'm done with the Alabama tree.
Yeah, that's got to go.
I think the best assistant coming out of Alabama is Kirby that's at Georgia now.
And he's doing a good job now, but I think we need to just sit back and wait on him a little bit, because I know you remember Muschamp's second year at Florida.
Oh, yeah.
He's 11-1.
That's right.
And,
that's right.
And then it just kind of went downhill. Alabama.
Well, his inability to get offense going.
That's right.
I think he's figured that out now at South Carolina.
Muschamp has, But now you got Kirby Smart trying to run an Alabama offense. He's kind of trying to do the same thing Alabama's done with Saban. Only 1 or 2 programs in the country can do it. AC said it earlier.
You got to be built up front to run that offense.
Tough,
you got to control the line of scrimmage, and we see that happen to Georgia Saturday. That's what happened to Georgia.
And discipline's the main. Saban's one of the best at that.
Oh man, hands down. Well, we're going to take a short break, Josh, and we're going to come back and talk about this week's college football game. Not just college football. We're going to talk a little basketball.
At Richards in Homerville, Georgia, you'll find the best meats and seafood anywhere around, and you can order by mail. For all your holiday needs, parties, and special events, we provide catering that will make the occasion one your guests will never forget. Whether it's a wedding, company party, political event, or convention, from Savannah to Atlanta and parts beyond, call Gregory or Sharon to schedule Richards Catering Service or to make a purchase by mail. 912-487-5822. Winky's Southern Styles in Homerville is the go-to place for custom embroidery and vinyl transfer designs. Whether it's t-shirts, caps, or special Christmas items, Winky's will make it happen. Go by our location at 44 East Elna Street in Homerville and see Lenora for embroidery and vinyl transfer. Winky's Southern Styles supports the Panthers in their quest for another state championship. Go Panthers!
Good evening. I'm Alan Handley. We're live here at Creekbox TV on Sports Talk Show, and I got my sidekick, college guru Josh Lee, with me. Josh, appreciate you. This is going to be a weekly thing now. I'm going to bring you in.
I'm prepared. I'm ready. I enjoy it.
You're back in cleanup, brother. You got to bring it home.
We can do it.
Well, as good as college football was last weekend, And man, this is the bad thing about college. You know, everybody has that scrub game.
That's right.
You know,
and this is the week to get.
You know, Florida lost their scrub game.
Yeah.
You know, they even talking about rescheduling that. I hope they don't. Is that official?
Well, now,
Josh?
no, Florida actually stepped back and said that wasn't an option. They're not going to reschedule it. They're going to leave it off. Florida State rescheduled their game, going to try to get bowl eligibility. They got a streak going.
Yeah.
They've been to pretty good bit, I think, 20-something consecutive bowl
Now,
games.
Josh, we've got to be right there with them.
Well, our streak got ended a couple years ago.
That's
Muschamp went
right.
4-8, so yeah, we don't have a whole lot.
That's
to,
right. That's
to
when
dub
Southern
on.
put us. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah, that pretty much done us in.
Yeah, that was a bad year.
You know, we're talking about Georgia getting manhandled by Auburn, and the BCS rankings are out now. I think they come on at 8:00. But looking at the coaches poll, you got Alabama 1.
That's right.
Miami finally. Was you shocked at that score, Josh?
I was actually. I mean, which I knew Miami had a good team. Mark Richt's got them playing good ball in there. And the turnovers, I think they forced 5 turnovers in that game.
Miami's defense.
That was the difference.
I was shocked
yeah,
at how good
they're
their
playing
defense
real
is.
good ball under Richt, and I think they deserve to be the number 2 team.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Miami's
kinda,
number 2, and I agree with that. Clemson's number 3. I don't have no problem with that. Their one loss, and who'd their one loss come to, Josh?
Syracuse beat
Syracuse,
Clemson,
that's
and it was
right.
in Syracuse. I think it was on a Friday night. It was one of those weird games.
Ask
you know,
Spurrier about Syracuse. We went up there one year, man,
and that's
when he
tough.
was coaching, and that the Carrier Dome.
It's a dome, yeah. It's a
you know,
kind of
we were number 1 team in the country when Syracuse beat us then.
same way with Clemson.
That's right.
And their coach, Dino Barber's his name. He was linked to the Florida job for a little while. I think his name's already been pulled out the pot, but I was excited about getting him because he. You know, he definitely had to have a good game plan to beat Clemson. You know,
And man, I was looking down here. We talked about Nebraska's coach. You know that they might be hunting a new coach. I was seeing they play somebody this week.
I think it's Penn State.
Yeah, it's Penn State. You're right.
Yeah,
Penn State.
If they're not looking for one now, they'll be looking for one after Penn State gets done with
Penn
them.
State. You know, they're sitting at number 11.
But
And it's going to be hard, but it's not impossible. I was shocked they only dropped Notre Dame to number 9 with 2 losses.
Yeah, no, and I guess that was a bad loss to Miami. But when you go back and look, their only other loss was to Georgia by 1 point.
Man.
But now you look in Georgia, you know, that may not look as strong as it was.
That's
but you know, I mean, and I think they're out of it at 9. I don't think they can get back into playoff picture.
Man,
personally.
My hang-up is Oklahoma. Oklahoma's hanging around 9-1, and they don't play no defense, man. They had a big win at TCU, and they did good Saturday.
They'll score. I think we said take the over. I don't know.
That's right. But, man, Oklahoma hurt you.
Oh, yeah, Oklahoma's
hurt you.
You'll
start believing, and that's when they'll nip you.
They got a quarterback, and that's the main thing.
That's right.
I look for Oklahoma to be in the top 4 tonight. Don't know, hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah, they like Oklahoma.
I just think they'll be 4.
Oklahoma, and you can't count Ohio State out at 8-2 because they're going to play Wisconsin at the end of the year.
Ohio State had a big win this weekend too.
Man,
they put style. Urban Meyer's always done. He did it at Florida. You got to win these games, and you got to win these games big and get style points. And he was able to do it.
Urban, he hadn't lost twice back to back. You know, not many times.
No, I don't know if he's. Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be 1 or 2 at the most. Probably 1.
You know, and he's got them. I look for Ohio State to roll from here on. They got Illinois, man. That's, you know, I'm kind of interested how Georgia. You know, they were 9-0. They won the first 9 out the gate. How are they going to react this week? Kentucky's no pushover now.
Yeah, I seen it's pretty good size, 21-point spread somewhere around there.
Is that what it is?
It's pretty large. I think it was Georgia. They looked for Georgia.
Kentucky, but it's in Georgia. I know that.
Yeah,
but and it's a 3:30 game, so Georgia. You know, if it was a 12 o'clock, I'd take the point.
Yeah, Georgia be up and be ready for it. I look for Smart. I mean, he's a good coach. He's a motivator. He'll have them going. He'll have them ready to play.
That's right. And then Auburn jumped up. I think they were 10th last week. Now they're sitting there, which Auburn's been in the playoffs since they got that second loss.
Yeah.
Auburn has to win.
Auburn's got to win out, and if they do, they control their own destiny.
Now, do you think if they win out and beat Alabama, which they'll have beat the number 1 team in the country in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Do you think that puts them in the top 4?
Well, you know, I think it will then, but then you got to turn around and play the SEC champion, which is going to be Georgia. Georgia's already Georgia's in the East.
Win or lose, you know.
So
Georgia's in the playoffs right now. I mean, their playoffs start now after that loss.
Yeah, that's right. Georgia could, you know, be a SEC championship game between Auburn and Georgia again if Auburn wins out, and then if Auburn wins that one, you got to put them in the playoffs. I mean, you got to.
And say Georgia beats Auburn, or say Auburn beats Georgia. I mean. Does that put Alabama out with 1 loss? I mean, you're going to be sitting here Miami and Clemson's
I
going
think
to play.
that's right. One of them cleared herself out.
That's right.
So you'll have
everybody bumps up Wisconsin and Ohio State. Georgia's got to be pulling for Ohio State to win out.
Yeah.
But now they like Ohio State now.
That's right.
The BCS does.
Oh, yeah. But really, right now you got Miami, Clemson, Alabama. It's going to surprise people, probably Georgia and Auburn, 5 teams that definitely control their own fate from here on out. You win out any of those teams you're in. Because the winner of the SEC championships going to the playoffs. The winner of the ACC championships going to the playoffs.
Some people were saying there was a scenario that nobody, man, surely they won't.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to take the SEC champion.
Yeah, and you probably got a better odds of getting 2 in than getting none in.
I agree
even
with
sitting there with
if Alabama wins out and Georgia beats Alabama, I think both of them could make it Alabama and Georgia.
It's possible. Now that's little, since Auburn beat Georgia like they did, and Georgia may not be.
That's what I was worried about too. It just wasn't a close game. It was a beatdown.
Georgia's got some issues that showed herself. Finally, somebody was able to take advantage of it. Now, Georgia Tech game's coming up. It's going to be a big game for Georgia.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The Tech game.
Tech
they always play Tech. I mean,
Tech will run that ball on them.
Tech had a big win this past weekend.
Yeah, they did.
I forget who it was, but
Virginia Tech, I think.
It was Virginia Tech in Atlanta.
Virginia Tech had got beat by Miami the following week, so I look for them to bounce back and give Tech a game. And Georgia Tech it was a close game, but Georgia Tech won. But yeah, I think Tech and Tech and Georgia are going to be a good game to watch.
Now, who would Oklahoma? Who's going to win the other side that Oklahoma will play in that championship?
I'm not sure. I haven't been watching a whole lot of them this year.
Thinking, is that Texas Tech or TCU?
I think it's TCU. I think they've already played one, and it'll be a rematch.
That's right. They played TCU this weekend and schooled them pretty good.
You'll have a rematch.
And I was looking down here. You got Central Florida. Who coaches at Central Florida?
That's Scott Frost. That's the guy.
That's the one that
Florida.
Like.
Yeah.
They're 9-0, and they got them 12th in the coaches poll and 14th in the AP poll.
Man, that's just. Which you mean that they probably hadn't beat any quality teams, but
now
undefeated.
Temple's not a bad team. They go to Temple at a 12 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, Temple's got a good coach there.
Yeah,
they got old Florida coach that's coaching them, and that should be a good game. You got Central Florida, Wisconsin, Alabama, and Miami is only 4 left undefeated.
That's right. You got to give. Now, do you think if the Central Florida wins out?
I'll tell you, I don't know if you remembered or not, but earlier in the year when the hurricane come through Florida, Florida canceled a game we talked about earlier. Florida State canceled one. So did Central Florida. Their canceled game was against Georgia Tech.
Well, I'd be making that up. They got to.
Georgia Tech tried. Central Florida declined. Now, not recently. This was earlier in the year. Well, now you can't. Now the offer's off the table. So now you're looking at Central Florida runs the table and had a chance at a game against Georgia Tech that could have moved them.
Now,
who knows where?
Conference? Do they play a conference championship?
They do, Josh? But I don't think it's going to be. I think South Florida's in there.
So you're going to look if they can win at Temple, they're probably going to be sitting at 12-0.
Yeah,
and probably ranked number 8.
Well, I think they play South Florida to end the season. So you got Central Florida, South Florida.
They got athletes.
They could.
And old Kiffin's doing a great job at South Florida.
Yeah, he is. He's doing a real good job. He put a little gig in at Alabama. He told all his Alabama players. He tweeted some of them on Twitter. He said, don't overlook Mercer this weekend.
Man, that's right. Well, Josh, man, I appreciate you taking the time to stop here at Creek Box and Sports Talk. And we'll see you next week, and we'll talk some more college football, brother.
We'll be looking forward to it.
Subway, the Corner Pantry, and the Argyle Food Market are